Hello, I am Carlina Evans. I'm so happy to have you. Thank you for taking the time to learn and to better yourself with some things that are happening globally. This video is basically talking about being globally minded, realizing and understanding things that are happening across the globe and how they are super duper relevant to us. Okay. We must learn to think globally. America has a tendency to isolate us. America has a tendency to believe that it's just them, right? A lot of the education that we receive in America is limited to us. For example, we use what's called the imperial system. So we use like miles per hour, inches, Fahrenheit. All of that is unique to America. Like, right? I think in Liberia, it's basically just us. And Liberia, of course, is an extension of US. So the rest of the world uses the metric system. So already we are at a huge disadvantage globally because just our education system is separated. Not only that, of course, we are a superpower. So, since 1944, the US dollar has been the power currency of the world, right? So, because we have power, oh, note I have my teacher earrings on because we're going to learn today. um the US has been a superpower for quite some time, and it has been kind of embedded in the fabric, like a natural arrogance that has come with that. America believes America is the great. It's going to stay the great. It's always going to be great. And that's that. This conversation is reality. This conversation is acknowledging the rest of the world, how they see us, and why it's important for us to be aware of these things, because things that are happening now. Let's start with the fact that America is only 4.5% of the population. That's it. Okay. Yes, we are the third largest country, but we are not growing as fast as other countries. There are countries growing super fast, and believe it or not, a lot of them are in Africa. Okay. So if we were going on the future, quite frankly, Africa is very strong because they are definitely leading when it comes to recreation and having children. Okay. That's first. Second, the world, based on decisions that we have made in America, the world sees us as, I don't want to say it, but it's what it is, kind of like stupid. The average American is considered not smart or idiots. I'm sad to say I understand what they mean, because when you go and you travel abroad, we are far unaware of what's happening compared to other countries. We don't know because our news outlets are the way our systems are. We only know what's going on in our own country. And to be quite frank, it's embarrassing. Not to mention the decisions made. For example, now the president that we have, and that's a lot of the rest of this conversation. He's not making good decisions globally, and we are absolutely up for a reality check. Sadly, it's imminent. Well, it's already happening, okay? And you must be aware of this. Before I get into that, I'm going to give you an analogy that I think will help better understand, right, everything. In my opinion, this is my own analogy, my own, theory and thought, but the world is an elephant. It's a big old elephant. Now, if you've never seen an elephant at all in your life, you would have no idea what it looks like if the only thing you saw was right one section of it. Okay? So imagine the trunk of an elephant is in the front, right? The tail of an elephant has hair on the end. You got the feet. There's all these different parts of an elephant, but most people only think what's in front of them. They only know what's in front of them. And unless you have traveled around the world, you just simply don't know. In my opinion, America is the stomach. If you're standing in front of this large elephant and you have a stomach in front of you, if that is all you can see, now imagine all you see is stomach. You have no idea what's going on up there with the nose. You don't know what's going on in the back. You don't know what's going on underneath him. The only thing you see is a stomach. But the average American, even though all they know is stomach, they're going to be arrogant. I know what this is. I know what's happening. They don't. They don't. Because we have a very limited view of the actual world. And this is why it's important to travel. Please look at the other video, Traveling on a Budget. It's important to be educated, because if you don't know what's really going on, a lot of your opinions are going to sound severely ignorant. And this is why the world perceives us as dumb. Okay? Because we don't know. And a lot of Americans have very strong opinions, and it's very like I said, it's all these opinions but don't know. All this talk, no idea what's going on. All right, but that's okay. That ends today. I'm a hip y'all. We gonna all learn together, and I've been learning myself, and it's eye-opening. Now I know more, of course, because I'm already overseas. I'm already out here. I already know. That's why I'm qualified to discuss this. But the things that are happening right now, like modern day today, whoo, Lord, it's even hard to do this. Honestly, it's even hard to do this, but it is a must because of the urgency of the things that's happening. All right, let's get right into it. The dollar, unfortunately, is definitely heading toward a decline. Okay, it's heading toward a decline, unfortunately. I don't like speaking these types of things. I really don't. And in this case, it's not even a perception anymore. It's just what it is. Dollar and any currency is always backed by gold, right? The U.S. does have a lot of gold reserves, which is great. We have plenty of it. However, there are still things that are taking place that, despite how much gold we have, it still is putting us in this downward spiral. And we're going to talk about those. Those 4 things are, the first one, debt. You can look all of this up. America's severely in debt. Because we're the #1 superpower, we could just keep making dollars even if we don't have the money or the gold or whatever to back it up. I ain't even going to talk about how much debt we're in, but if you looked at the numbers, you'd be like, oh, because the truth is the number's so high, it don't matter if I say it or not. None of us know how bad it really is. Just know it's going up at a very fast rate. And even 10 years ago, they would have never thought it would get to this bad. So that's the reason why inflation is as bad as it is, because our dollar is not holding to its value because we owe a lot of money. Okay, the second reason is growth, population. As I stated earlier, these other countries are outpopulating us. They just got more people. They got more people. We're not growing to the same level they are. We're not growing as far as economically either as fast as they are. A lot of these countries are developing, right? And so they're like, shoo, shoo, shoo. Which is brings me to another one, technology. America will tell you, they will tell you on the news, we have engines, we have this, we're so You step outside of America and see how far advanced these other countries are. In particular, Asia, they are on it. Obviously, the Middle East, what? The stuff we got over here. And last, but certainly not least, I think it's cool how the birds are flying, by the way. They just flying around. So if you see them, these are real birds outside, y'all. I don't know if I can move, but the birds is outside. In fact, I'm on a man-made island in UAE. We don't have man-made islands in America. The amount of money it costs to build a man-made island is insane. Okay, that just the fact that birds are flying past me tells you that these other countries are far more advanced than America. Far, I gotta sing it. Anyway, considering our debt, our growth, our technology, last but not least, BRICS. Now, this is the thing. BRICS is a combination of companies. This, if you don't hear nothing, please let your ears turn on now. This one. It's a combination of countries that have come together basically to demonetize the dollar. They have very sound reasoning and logic for this. It makes sense. When they are trading right now, they have to go through the US dollar, which gives us a huge advantage with everything, to be honest. So much that the sitting president is very, very terrible at the word tariff. He just throw the word tariff around. I'm going to put a tariff. I'm going to put a tariff. Well, see, the problem is because he has the power at the moment to do that. This new thing called BRICS will demonetize the dollar, meaning the dollar will not have its same value. And now it creates a unified currency that they can trade on where all countries are fairly treated, etc., etc. It's completely logical. It was started in 2009. The letters BRICS stand for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They were the founders of this. That was in 2009. It is now 2025. Let me show y'all a map of this good old BRICS. Okay. As you can see on the map, I colored all of the countries that are either members, partners, they applied for it, or they're invited. This is now today's BRICS. This is 2025. Notice the only countries that are not a part of it right now: US, Canada, Greenland. Greenland doesn't really count. EU, which is European Union, which is most of Europe, okay? And Australia. Can you see that? Okay. So these are the countries that are not a part of it. You can kind of call this group the G7. We're going to call them G7. And you can look this up. G7 is like a military alliance. It pretty much is the top countries coming together, and we're friends. All right. We homies. So America's homies, right? They dog, whatever. I don't know how crazy I sound because, I'm getting old, so I can't say stuff like that. But America's friends are Canada, Europe, kind of Australia. Let's just look at it like that. Those are our friends. So if something go down, we kind of work together and we work that thing out, right? Fine. They're not currently a part of BRICS. But here's the problem. People are signing up, countries are signing on to BRICS at an alarming rate. It is now 2025, and just this year alone, we already saw Thailand signed on to BRICS. Indonesia signed on to BRICS. Indonesia, by the way, has a population of 280 million. Okay. And Nigeria signed on to be a partner of BRICS, which is huge because that kind of represents Africa. Nigeria is the largest money. It's what's the word? Economic. They're the biggest in Africa. So they have 124 million people. And so doing something with them is a big statement as well. Getting to the point, okay? BRICS is massively winning right now. They are winning because it may seem like, oh, those are countries that don't have a lot, of money, or their GDP isn't that high, or because that's what America will tell you and what America would think, because we are a part of the elite, right? We have Europe, we got America, we got Canada. We're like the big dogs. All these little countries are nothing. Well, guess what? Their union has now obviously beat us as far as the GDP. Okay, GDP, gross domestic product. So right now, G7 countries, that's all of us. That's America, Canada, Europe, that's all of us, our big dogs. We're only 30% of the GDP at the moment. BRICS represents 35%, which means they now have the majority. Even worse, they definitely have the population. I'm going to say that. Population. BRICS has between 55 to 60% of the world's population. What does that mean? That means that if this boils down to a war, it ain't looking good, folks. This map is current as of today. Obviously, more countries are signing on to BRICS. In fact, I think there's 23 that are in queue. So now, as if this is not all bad information, this is all terrible, honestly, when it comes to our US dollar staying strong. This is all terrible, terrible, terrible. And I'm really depressed to be able to say that it actually gets worse. The sitting president is offending our friends. Our G7 union that we really, really need right now, homie is cutting a fool, okay? He has threatened tariffs on Canada, Mexico, not threatened, he actually signed them into effect. Canada, Mexico, and even Europe, the EU, our coveted European Union. We need them. Now, Europe and Canada, to date, have both, okay, done things directly with China to avoid America and this sitting president's bullcrap. Okay, as of yesterday, Canada just did something with oil, like a direct trade with Canada. That way they don't have to go through US. EU, European, actually there's a couple countries in Europe that have now signed on to join BRICS. When doing the research to do this, just know it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. He's continuing to make very poor decisions with other countries, kind of living in this arrogance that I was telling you, and not accepting that the world is growing, it's changing, and the reality is they absolutely outnumber us. They outnumber us in population, weapons, strategy, the GDP, the economy, every single thing. It's because of his behavior, it's like the world against America. And the fact is, if it's the world against America, we lose. And that coveted dollar that is so king around the world at the moment can absolutely collapse. The US dollar to the BRICS is actually 36. That means you need 36 US dollars to equal one BRICS currency. That means that it's possible that overnight our dollar goes from, I'm boiling to we have to take our mind off of money, you guys. We have to take our mind off of money, and we have to put it on things that are going to sustain us. Am I saying all of this is absolutely going to happen? No, because obviously I don't want it to happen. I'm vested in the US dollar too. But we do need to learn how to survive. And the things that I'm talking about on this university are going to keep us whether we have money or whether we do not. Those two things are peace and freedom. You need peace, okay? We would say biblically that surpasses all understanding. You need the peace to be able to be calm in the midst of whatever is going on. Peace is something that you can only get with a higher power, okay? It's just impossible for our human bodies and brains to produce the real true peace. In addition to peace, you need freedom. Freedom allows you to move about, move around, and do what you need to do to stay safe. Okay? Freedom comes, to me, it's also a state of mind, but it comes by removing yourself from people, situations. It could even be a job, or anything that is holding you back. Because I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, do not want any of us to get left behind. Okay? These things are actually happening. I didn't even tell you my opinion. I just gave you facts. This would be a whole nother video if I'm going to sit and tell you how I analyze all of this foolishness. But I won't. I'm just giving you the facts right now. Okay? As a country, the United States of America is absolutely declining. It's like, and because we have a a leader that is making very poor choices, that decline is going faster. More and more countries are signing on to demonetize our dollar. And it makes sense, because if they don't, he is a tyrant, unfortunately, and he's just threatening everybody, even our friends, even Europe, even Canada. He don't care. Mexico, he just talking all this mess. Do. And now BRICS is over here blowing up like, okay, I got something for that. Meanwhile, I definitely tell you, as a global traveler, these other countries are far ahead of us. So it's not a good idea for us to behave like this. It's not a good idea for us to be closed-minded. We must be globally minded. We must acknowledge what's happening around the world, because truly our lives depend on it. Okay? I want you to watch the other videos. I want you to accept, okay, that we can be better and stronger as people, and we are not solely reliant on the dollar. We also want to come together, right? Unite and pray that we can somehow slow or stop this process from happening. I don't know how. I don't have the answer. I'm just giving you the information. But we definitely need to come together, be aware of what's happening, and we do not want situations, okay, to leave us and we're messed up. Thank you for listening. Watch this again and again. Do your research, whatever you need to do. But please, let's get through the rest of the videos. Let's become prepared and better people. Let's get this peace. Let's get this freedom, so that no matter what happens, no matter what uncertain times are before us, we are all right. All right? All right.